Hi, I'm Rosie Cruz. Welcome back to Bay Area Independent Filmmakers, and I am here with some really interesting guests. Not your typical filmmaker, but they have a passion for what they do, and they created an ongoing series about 10 years ago when it was unheard of to create your own content. I have the creators of Fugitive Watch here, Steve Ferdin and Scott Castruita. I am so bad sometimes. I can barely say my last name.
That's all right. Most people don't get that right.
But anyway, I am really excited for you two to be on the show, and you know, I've always been a fan. But
great.
Also, you know, just the work that you do with the with your show, and you know, about 10 years ago when you guys thought of this. And you literally now produce a newspaper.
It was actually, we started in 1992, so it was actually...
Really?
Yeah, we started in 1992, so it's been more like how many years? 20?
Oh, don't ask me.
Don't date yourself?
I never did well in math.
Okay.
Around 28 years.
Wow.
We started Fugitive Watch in 1992.
That's incredible. So today you have a YouTube channel, you have, of course, Instagram, Facebook. You have a huge following. You have a newspaper, of course, website. And back then, you know, websites were like, well, that's all you really need.
Yeah.
So I want you really to
Well, the website was born.
lowdown.
So the TV show started in 1992. Steve and I were sitting around one day, and I'm a retired San Jose police sergeant, and he's also retired San Jose police and a bunch of other agencies he's worked for. He's got about 40 years of police experience behind him. But we came up with this. It wasn't a new idea. It was right out of the post office. I mean, we wanted to catch bad guys. And we're like, well, how can we do this? So Steve and I just went out. We went to different news stations and stuff and trying to we pitched this idea, hey, we want to show some local fugitives. And back then they called us San Jose's Most Wanted. But that really wasn't, the name of our show was Fugitive Watch. Mm-hmm. And we came across, back then, I can't remember the name of the cable station, but
it was Gill Cable, I think.
Yeah, Gill Cable, yeah. We pitched our idea to them, and the guy said, okay, why don't you come in and give me an idea what it is you guys want to do. So I can tell you now, I called in sick that day, and so did Steve. We went to a library and checked out a book on how to write a business proposal, because there was no internet. And
a business proposal for a TV show.
Yeah, for a TV show.
Okay.
Because we really had no idea. We were like, well, we just want to put bad guys on TV. And the guy wanted
a business plan.
He wanted a business plan. So we spent a whole day in this coffee shop writing out this business plan. Our original business plan was for a 24-hour crime channel, which everybody thought we were crazy. But look at TV now.
I don't know if it's that crazy now.
Not anymore. It's not crazy anymore. Yeah. We wanted a 24-hour crime channel. So when we went in there, the man that we dealt with, his name was John Holland, really nice guy. And fast forward, when it all was said and done, he says, okay, I'll give you guys 5 minutes.
No, he said he'll sell us 5 minutes.
Oh, he'll sell us. I'll sell you 5 minutes.
Sell us 5 minutes.
He'll sell us 5 minutes.
Can you disclose what the sale, the buy cost of 5 minutes?
We don't. I don't even remember.
I don't remember how much it was.
I don't recall, but I remember sitting there and we said, well, what do we have to do? So he kind of walked us through the whole. He said, well, you got to do this, you got to do this, and you got to do this, and we sat there the whole time going, and then we walked out, and I was like, did you understand any of that stuff he said? And Steve looked at me and goes, no, I thought you did. And I go, I didn't understand a word he was saying. Because it was all TV lingo, production.
Okay.
They were talking storyboarding and, you know, things that to us, we know cop talk.
Language,
yeah, we know the 10 code.
We didn't know what an account executive, an AE was.
Yeah, we didn't understand any of that.
How to sell advertising.
So we went back in and we made another meeting with the guy, and I was just right up front with him. I said, look, we don't understand anything you said last time. Let's start from the beginning. We don't know what we're doing. And so we produced a 5-minute show. We put, I think, 5 fugitives on there?
No, I think we put 7 fugitives on.
7 fugitives.
Yeah.
And then he made us a videotape, and we went out and we made a videotape of what it was we were going to do. And it was an all still frame TV show, and we went out and we sold some advertisement to got some sponsors, and we put the show went on the air, and we caught what five of those.
I think we
There was
caught-
only one we didn't
yeah,
catch.
only
Was the
we
one
didn't
we
catch.
still haven't caught.
Right.
Oh,
yeah.
wait a minute. So out of the 5 stories that you initially put together, you actually create like justice. You wrangled in those criminals
Yes,
and
we did.
got them
Yeah, we
put
just
in jail.
caught everybody. Yeah.
Yeah, we did.
Wow.
Yeah, there's still a couple that were on the show that we are still our white whale that we haven't caught, but we've got probably 3,000 captures to our name.
Yeah. Well, when we launched the show, we did a press conference, and we had, I don't know if it was a slow news day or what
Yeah.
it was, but we didn't expect the response from the media that we received. We had all the local TV stations there and newspapers and the radio stations. They were all there. We had this big bank of microphones in front of us.
I had laryngitis.
And he had laryngitis. He could not speak, so he just stood there looking pretty. And it was just a big to-do. I was just blown away at the response from the media. And so we were all over the Bay Area on all the local TV stations about this new Most Wanted program coming out. And so we did get a lot of publicity, and as a result, we were able to get all the captures. And so it was a real success. We were just blown away at the.
And then as the years went on,
warmly received by the community.
Yeah, as the years went on, they took our 5-minute show and they were airing it on the same station like 50 times a day. And then we went to a 10-minute show, 15-minute show. And then as time went on, then that internet thing came along. And I go, wow, this internet sounds really cool. I go, this looks like something we might want to do. So I tell Steve, I said, hey, what about the internet? You think we should do something? And Steve told me the internet was going to be a fad.
What
He did.
What is this? What is
The
it?
Oh, you had that recorded too, right?
Oh, he tells me the internet's
We
going to
got
be
a
a fad.
TV
He said
show.
it's like
What
beta.
is this
What'd you say?
internet?
You compared it to VHS to videotape. He goes, it's just it's not going to last. And I go, I don't know. So I bought Fugitive.com and FugitiveWatch.com, and then I sat in a room with another buddy of mine at the time, and we created the first website. And you can actually find it still. There's a website called Wayback on the internet, and you can actually go way back and look at the progression of what our website looked like from day one.
Wow.
It's really interesting because I actually forgot what it looked like back then. And so we created the website, and everybody thought, oh, that's crazy, you can't do that. And then who was it that they tried to shut us down? Sacramento, the attorney.
Oh, the Attorney General's office.
The Attorney General's office tried to shut. Hey, because
What would be that? Yeah, why?
well, we did a press release and we said we're gonna air wanted fugitives on the internet, and we got phone calls going, you can't do that. You can't be putting people. You can't put wanted. And we're like, they've been putting wanted people in post offices, and we do it on TV for years. What's the difference than if we put them on the internet? So then, at the time, him and I were police officers. They did this investigation on us to find out, what are these guys doing? What are they up to? And then when it was all said and done, was it Governor Duke Majan?
Governor Duke Majan, I believe it was, yeah.
He wrote us a letter when we did the big press release, when we did our launch. And we were the first website to put wanted people on the internet.
Wow.
And that's why we own Fugitive.com. And now, of course, it's, as we know, the internet's kind of the wild, wild west. So,
Yeah.
And then from there, the internet, and in between there, we started the newspaper. So we also have a newspaper, a publication, and the newspaper, people still like that physical paper.
Yeah.
They still like it. So it's not as big as it was when we first started it. We don't have, but we still do the paper, and Steve puts a lot of work into that.
So how does one get a hold of the paper if they wanted to?
Well,
like,
this is
subscribe?
the 25th anniversary issue of our newspaper,
Wow.
and it predominantly is in San Jose right now.
Can I look at
Yeah,
it?
sure. And we have it in high traffic areas. We have them in bus stations, and we at the Great Mall, There's a rack there at the Great Mall and
Okay.
at the county hospital, light car washes, things like that. It's very very warmly received. It's very, very popular. When I when I go to refill, I do everything. When I go refill the racks, I got people waiting at the newspaper rack for me to put it in there. Oh, is that is that the
matter
new
of fact,
issue?
I was on
next issue.
I was on the phone with him yesterday, was
Yesterday,
it? I was on the
yesterday.
phone with him yesterday and the tip line rang and it was some lady called up and she just couldn't say enough nice things about how much she loves our newspaper and she wants to subscribe to it. We used to do subscriptions. It's a lot of work. I couldn't handle it anymore, doing the mailing. But she was just really excited. And the one thing, she didn't even mention how much she liked the Fugitives, but she liked, Steve does a lot of work on a section called Factoids. So he does a lot of facts and stuff that people wouldn't believe. So she really liked that.
Yeah, she was calling on behalf of her father. She said her father was also a big fan, and he lived in Sunnyvale, and he can't find a news rack in Sunnyvale, and she wanted to know if he could subscribe to the paper because he likes it so much. So it was really it was kind of a
Recently I was having my camera system at my house having something upgraded, and the guy that walks in, he goes, "Hey, I know you. You're the guy that does that Fugitive Watch thing." He goes, "I used to watch when we were kids." And I'm like, "Oh, thanks, man." He goes, "When we were little kids, we used to all sit around the TV and watch you guys. What's that other guy's name?" And I go, "Steve." He goes, "Yeah." He goes, "You and Steve." He goes, "Yeah." He goes, "I remember you." And I go, and this guy's a fool. He's an adult. He's probably watched us 20 years ago, 25 years ago. So for him, it's been a lifetime.
Awesome.
So it was pretty interesting.
So I think this is really interesting because you still produce this, and all the social media platforms kind of resemble a lot of what used to be paper products, like magazines, newsletters, newspapers, and each one of them is formatted differently. So you guys do your own social media and put your own content up there as well?
Yeah, we do.
yes. Every day we're
Every day we update it. Steve and I update. We put new stories up every day. I mean, it's. I spent hours in front of the computer doing research, writing stories, and finding videos.
We get law enforcement agencies who will send us cases, ask us to feature cases for them.
Okay.
And we're always combing the news wire services, looking for stories.
Yeah. And we have nearly 400,000
Fugitive
people
related.
that have been on our Facebook page, and we get a lot of messages from them, and people saying, "Hey, can you help us? We were a victim of a crime, and we have pictures, or this is the case number of the police department. Can you help us out?" And that's what we want to do. That's what it's about. It's about getting these criminals off the street. And a lot of people, when they've been victimized like that, they feel like, what's happening with my case? What's going on? Nothing.
Yeah.
A lot of times, because again, one of the reasons why we started Fugitive Watch, and Steve's better at answering this, was the whole chance encounter thing.
Right.
And by creating Fugitive Watch, we give them less places to run, less places to hide. And we've had families call us up and go, I thought nobody was looking for this guy anymore. This guy, tell the story about the girl that called. Her dad was killed, and now she's a police officer. And we're still looking for that fugitive. And I
don't remember that case.
That was the one. So what it was the one where she said that her dad was killed in a robbery at a gas station.
Oh yes.
And they
right.
were looking,
Okay.
and she's now a police officer. But she was
Wow.
Googling, and she came across our website and goes, "My God, they're still looking for the guy that killed my dad."
Okay. I do
Wow.
remember
Is
And
that local?
Yeah, it was.
that. In Menlo Park.
Park.
Wow.
Yeah, he was putting gas in his car, coming home from work, and just this random man walked up to him and shot him and killed him in the gas station, and was identified and has been at large. It's been well over 30 years now.
Yeah. And that's what makes us feel good, because we're people, we're still helping. We want to catch these people. And now with technology, you see every day these cold cases, people are getting people are getting arrested. And it's important that police agencies use outlets like us because we're a tool, and it helps the police agency when they do catch these people 10, 15 years later. It proves, what's the word,
Due diligence.
due diligence, that they've have been looking for this person the whole time, and they don't get off on the case because the law is kind of weird. If nobody's looking for them, then the statutes of limitations can just go away.
So can you talk a little bit about your process? Because people who watch your show or follow you or pick up the newspaper, they see what you do up front, and you guys are the faces of the news, the stories, because all this is really about storytelling and communicating what is important to you and your show and the intent. But what happens afterwards when you get this information out? Can you talk about that process and like the?
I'm going to let Steve touch on that because Steve handles the majority of the tips that come in, and sometimes it's a lot of work. I mean, he's calling other countries, Russia. He's got to get translators.
When people call or they send an email, because that's what
I'm glad you
on the
asked that.
show.
That is a really good behind-the-scenes story, all onto its own. Basically, we have two types of we kind of categorize them as two types of tips that come in. One is what we call a hot tip, and that's where the person calls Rosie and says, yeah, he's at his ex-wife's house right now visiting the kids. He's there right now, and so we'll call the local law enforcement, give them the information, and they'll go out and make the arrest. The other type of tip we have is more of a follow-up. I don't know where he's at right now, but he's usually can be found playing pool at Tony's Pool Hall on Friday nights, so again, then we give the information to the law enforcement, and then they can go and do their investigation and make the arrest safely on their terms. And what's important is to know is a lot of times these tips come in. They're just a little bit. They might say, I don't know where he's at right now, but I think he's living in Cabo San Lucas. He moved to Cabo San Lucas. Oh, how do you know that? Oh, because I overheard his mother talking, that she talks to him all the time, and I heard her say that he's in Cabo San Lucas. Well, we don't have an address yet, and he's in another country, so now we have to wait to see if we get some more pieces, and or I'll have that person. Hey, maybe can you talk to your mother-in-law.
Steve's good at that. Tell him about the guy in Mexico where you actually had to call and they had to dust off the books and find the. This was a a classic example.
Yeah,
of
this
how
was
much
this
time
was
goes in.
this was a really good example. This lady called. She had her husband killed some police officers in Mexico. He was part of a bank robbery gang, and got arrested and was convicted, and was being transported from a smaller jail to a larger, more secure facility there in Mexico. And his gang, they ambushed the convoy and killed a couple of police officers, and he escaped, and he came to the United States. And this was about 25 years ago. And so he had been living here in the United States, and had been arrested a couple times for domestic violence, and but they had never connected him to being wanted for murder out of Mexico, because the United States and Mexico don't share that kind of information. And so she had called the local law enforcement and didn't get anywhere. She just couldn't convince them that this was good information. So I said, well, this is a pretty good story, if this is true. So I was able to call the local police agency there in Mexico, which is a small town, and the guy answered the phone, and he said, yeah, you know what? He goes, I haven't been working here that long, but I think I heard something about that. He goes, that was way before I started working here. He goes, but there's an older officer who's out on patrol, and when he comes in, I'll have him call you. So I talked to him, and he says, oh yeah, that's what she's saying is true. We are looking for that guy. He is wanted, but their judicial system's a lot different. They have the state the judiciales and the estatales and the federales. It's a very completely different system than we have here. So he says, well, the warrant, nothing's automated there. So he goes, well, the warrant's with the judge, in the state level or something like that. So it took me a couple of months to finally, work my way to finally I got somebody on the phone who says, oh, yeah, I'm holding the warrant in my hand. We do want that guy. Okay, good. So it's good information. But, Mexican warrants are not enforceable here in the United States. So now I said, okay, Steve, what am I going to do now? This guy really is wanted for killing 2 police officers in Mexico. And so I said, well, you know what? He's not here legally. So I go, there's no extradition problem here. So I just went down to the local ICE office, and I explained to them, and they go, oh yeah, no problem. Yeah, there's no extradition problem. We just pick him up. We'll call the Mexican authorities and have them meet us at the border there, and we'll just turn him over.
Wow.
So they picked him up, and well, actually, it goes a little more.
It got pretty. It
got
pretty dicey.
It got a little dicey because
they got a little comfortable with going out and picking him up, and he escaped.
So they go, "Do you have a picture of the guy?" And I said, "Yeah, matter of fact, I do," because I said he's selling real estate for Century 21, and he's got he has his picture on his business card. So here's his picture. So they went to the local Century 21 office where he was at, and these guys are not street cops, the poor guys. They were not really well experienced, and they flashed their badges to the receptionist and say, hey, we want to talk to this guy. So she says, hey, there's some agents. Well, he goes out the back door. So I get this phone call from these agents, and I said, yeah, what's going on? He goes, oh, dude, we kind of messed up here. And what happened? So they told me what happened. They go, what do we do? I said, okay, we can fix this. This is what we need to do. You need to stake out, his house,
the bank, because he's going to go get money.
Yeah.
He's going to get,
you need to put an Amber Alert out for the kids, because
that was the other thing. He went and got the kids.
Yeah, because he went and got the kids.
That's what scared us. We were worried now he's going to hold the kids hostage, which he ended up happening was Steve found him in I was working at the time, and the calls came in, and I called the watch commander, and I said, "Look, I got some feds, and they're looking, and this is what's going on." And Steve found the guy in a hotel.
Well, so what happens is the agents called me about 7 in the morning, and they say, "Hey, Steve, dude, we've been up all night, man. He hasn't showed up at the house. We're gonna go home and get some sleep, and we'll come back out and hit it again." I said, "Oh, okay, cool." So about an hour later, I get an anonymous call, says he's at the Quality Days Inn by the airport, by the San Jose airport. So they go to they said he's in room 22. I said, oh, cool. So I call the agent back up, and he goes, oh, dude, I just got in a bed. He goes, can you call San Jose PD and see if they'll go out there and kind of like secure the area till we get out there? I said, sure, yeah. So we called the local district sergeant and told him. He goes, oh yeah, I'll get the troops together. So they go and they surround the hotel, the motel, and the agents went out there and they just made the phone call. Hey, come on out. And
so the kids were safe.
Kids were safe.
He got caught. He got sent back to Mexico, which we don't know what they did with him.
Yeah, so the last we heard, he's sitting.
He hasn't written us.
Yeah.
We thought, we tried to write him. I tried to send him a care package. I thought, I'll send him a care package in jail. But
actually, a National Geographic called us, wanted to do a story about on him, on his capture.
Oh, that's right.
And they had contacted the prison where he was at and talked to the warden, and had actually got permission to go and interview him as part of their story, and they were all set to do that, and then the warden got hit by a car across the street, got killed, and so they lost permission to do the story.
Oh, wow, that's incredible.
So we still don't know.
So last we know, he's in prison,
and he still hasn't written us.
Yeah.
With today's technology, he can get a hold of us on Facebook, Instagram.
Yeah. That's true. Send you a fan letter.
Yeah.
We do get those all the time from fugitives. They send us, we get emails all the time going, hey, is there any way you could take me off your website? I've been on there for 10 years. I did my time. I went to prison. I did all this, and every time somebody Googles my name, your website pops up in my picture. And yeah, of course, we don't have a problem with that. We do have a problem when people get a hold of us and threaten us if we don't take their pictures off, which happens all the time when they're wanted. It's like, well, yeah, turn yourself in.
Oh, they haven't been caught. Okay.
Yeah, you can turn yourself in.
Yeah, we had one where this guy was wanted for brutally stabbing in a robbery. He wanted this guy's shoes, and he stabbed the poor kid to steal his shoes at the VTA light rail station. And then after he stabbed him, he pushes him onto the tracks. And they had surveillance video of the crime, and we put the surveillance video on our show. Well, the crook's sister calls us up, and she's, I'm going to sue you guys. You have my brother's picture on. she's giving her brother up, not knowing she's giving her brother up. I'm going to sue you guys. You have my brother's picture on there, and he says that he didn't do it. And I said, okay, well, you know what? Have your brother, where's your brother? So we could talk to him,
Oh, this is great.
So we negotiated his
involuntary surrender.
Yeah.
Awesome. Well, I'm really excited. If anybody wants to follow your show, can you say the website that they can actually see some of the episodes, or which social media is best?
If you go to fugitive.com, you can find everything there. But we also were at Fugitive Watch on Instagram.
Okay.
And we're also on Facebook, which you just type in Fugitive Watch and we'll pop up. Okay. But come to our Facebook page. We air brand new stuff every day. And some of we do have somewhat, we think we have a sense of humor. People are telling us they like our sense of humor, so.
Yeah.
So we try to keep it light because it gets heavy. There's a lot of heavy stuff. So we try to lighten it up for people a little bit.
Well, it is hard to take in, but you know what? You guys are doing great work, and technology is advancing, so you're using it to your advantage to serve the community, and I think that's an amazing thing to do. I wanted to thank everybody for watching this episode, and please follow them because this is obviously a show with a lot of passion, and it has a purpose behind it. So to serve the community best, follow Fugitive Watch on Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube, and go check out their website, fugitive.com. And we'll be posting and sharing some of their episodes and snippets on our Facebook page. Take care. Thank you.